Three, two, one. Now, this is another fight that I named. And this is the king at the top on the throne. And Izzy Adesanya, Easy Adesanya, Israel Adesanya, the king on the top on the throne, fighting Jared Cannonier, 15-5 versus Israel, 22-1. I think is going to be an exciting fight. But before I tell you why I think that you should be watching this main card, main event, Tiggy Maximus, why is this fight something that the people, the viewers, the fight fans around the world should be watching UFC 276?
You have a polarizing figure in Israel Adesanya, king of the 185s right now. He does have a formidable opponent in Jared Cannonier. Cannonier has been waiting for his title shot, and he got it. Israel wanted to fight him. It should be a good fight. It will probably go 5 rounds, actually, in my mind. And I have a feeling that Israel will probably win this, but it'll be a close one, 3-2.
So Israel said he was going to make this look easy, and yet you're saying you think it's going to go 5 rounds. So what makes you think that he's wrong about making this fight look easy?
When I watched Jared fight, he's a durable fighter, actually. And for a guy coming down a few weight classes from, 260 to coming down all the way down to 185 and still look good at 185, well, he's going to make this a tough fight for Israel. And I would say there's going to be some grappling, some wrestling that might be thrown in there, and Izzy might have to deal with it like in his previous fights. So I feel like 3-2 Israel is a pretty good prediction there.
Well, now, before we get to predictions and whatnot, you said that he might have to deal with some grappling, some wrestling, not necessarily jujitsu that I know of, but a little bit of wrestling and some grappling. And I will say that when have we seen Israel have a real issue with the ground game? I mean, with a beautiful front rolling dynamics, getting out of attempted takedowns. Marvin Vittori, Jan Blachowicz. This man has been able to be in the octagon with some of the best on the ground and survive. I will ask you this. We have the broken native, right? So we have the champion who brings the belt back to Nigeria and to New Zealand. And what do you think you will see that prevents him from taking that belt home come Saturday? Do you think this is a knockout? Do you think that this is a submission? What is Jared Cannonier? How does he finish Israel Adesanya?
I don't think it'll be a finish in particular. I think he might just simply squeak out a victory, and 3-2 is what I'm really feeling about this fight because it's gonna be a test of attrition in this fight, and Israel is gonna have to deal with what Jared is gonna bring to the table here with the wrestling, with the power, and the durability. Now, with Jared, he has to deal with the fact that Izzy is pretty quick on his feet. He has the power in his hands. He can knock people out. He throws punches that fighters can't see right away. I mean, it's just amazing to watch Izzy fight. But this makes it a great fight to watch because you have one side where you feel like the guy is due. He's going to bring his wrestling. He's going to bring his durability. He's going to bring power. While you have a champion who's being tested time and time again, where he has to deal with a new facet, where he actually has to deal with wrestling from new fighters now, coming from all these new challengers from either it was 205 when he challenged for the super fight title, and there was the fight with Marvin Vittori, and then he had to deal with Robert Whitaker and stuff, and you know what? He is getting better with the wrestling. I'll admit that. But he's now got to deal with again with another fighter who has a bit of a skill set in wrestling. So I have a good feeling this will. You'll see a lot of facets in this game here, but I have a feeling that it is going to be a close fight. 3-2 is still my
So,
prediction.
not to cut you off there, my friend. Um, Something about Jared that I find interesting. He's a great fighter. He has an intelligent game plan in most fights he's ever fought in. He lacks this je ne sais quoi of understanding. And what I mean by that is the understanding that you're standing in front and across the octagon from one of the greatest mixed martial artists at this time. And not only that, but the thousands of people who will be in that stadium cheering and yelling and screaming and throwing beer from place to place. I think the one issue that a lot of fighters tend to have is when you are fighting for a championship belt, you're going to do way more publicity. You're going to have more media. You're going to do more interviews. You're going to travel more. And I think a lot of people talk often about how that affects them as a fighter. And with that being said, I don't know, and I haven't seen anything that shows me that there's even a crack in the armor when it comes to that. Or that there will be a crack in the armor once he gets in front of Israel under those bright lights. I think the biggest thing is, Tiggy, that when he does step in front of Israel Saturday night, there isn't going to be the same level of fear that most people get. And it's not necessarily I'm standing in front of a dump truck and I'm getting ready to get ran over, more so than I'm standing in front of a large deer that has a machine gun pointed directly at my chest, in only the best way. Keep your mind out of the gutter. What I mean when I say that is Israel Adesanya is tricky. He provides a level of mystique to his fighting by throwing, whether it's teep kicks or throwing feints and getting you caught off guard, messing with your timing. And then when you are paying attention to a feint, throwing a punch that you don't see coming, as you so forementioned. And I think that one thing that is exciting about Jared is that a lot of those little things that typically throw people off is not something, I don't think that's something that penetrates his brain the same way. He's ready for that. And that's what makes this an exciting fight. A lot of people don't understand that it's one thing to see a fighter fight a fight that he's going to win. It's another thing to see a man or a woman stand in front of another man or a woman and say, I don't know what the outcome is going to be. And this man can win or that man can win. It gets exciting because I don't want to see someone who's just going to go and demolish someone else. I want to see a fight of the mind as well as the body. And I think we'll see that come Saturday. Now, I've got to go with my gut, and my gut says that Israel Adesanya takes this belt back to New Zealand, crosses over to Nigeria, throws a little parade. I got to go with the style bender.
I agree. Should be a fun fight.
Fun fights all around. Guys, please, if you love the content that we provide here, like, share, subscribe. Make sure that you hit the notification bell. We're providing this content to try to create a conversation. We want to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys think about these fights. This is a forum for us all to grow and become more excited in the technical, exciting aspects of mixed martial arts, the UFC, and great fighters who provide entertainment.